Okay. I think we're good. Bit of a delay. Let's see. I'll verify my audio right quick. That didn't say we're live at all. Oh, there it is. That didn't say we're live at all. Yeah, the audio is going to double up for a second. I'm sorry. I'm not using headphones, so I've got to get everything to a good volume. Yeah, the audio is going to double up for a second. I'm sorry. I'm not using headphones, so I've got to get everything. All right. There we go. Good evening. I know it's been a while. We'll cover that. Doing things a little different also. So startup's going to be a little slow, but just a little. Why is chat disabled though? I'm going to fix that somehow. I did this a new way. If I need to, I'll just cancel it and restart. My bad. I think that did it. It did. All right. Let's see. Come on. Yeah. All right. Everything's up and running. All right. Sorry about that. Like I said, trying something new. Maybe if I put a schedule up, I figure I'd keep to it more. Yeah, I know. No beard, no mustache. It's all gone. Well, I shaved Saturday. What was today? Monday. It's mostly gone. And y'all have to let me know. If music is too loud, I turned it down. All right. So my streams are not going to be as long as they used to be. And they're not going to be covering as many facets as they used to. I'm streamlining my streams going forward. It was all I could do to get back on here, so just doing the streams should be enough. Didn't really wanna, but I am. Just kind of in a people hating mood. Not liking, I don't hate anybody, but not really liking people lately. It's hard to stream when you're not liking people. But I got a couple people trying to get me over my being jaded. Because I am definitely jaded. All right. So, like I said, they're not going to be as long as normal. And that is because most people don't like long. Phrasing. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Anyway. So they're not going to be as long as normal. I think the art sessions, I'm going to try and keep them around an hour. So we'll stream for an hour as long as any conversations go. Um, And then I'm just going to have to get into editing. So maybe I'll try any of the informative streams. I'll maybe try and find time to edit also. Probably needs to be done. Yeah. So tonight, that's so cool. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to do the inks on this girl. Don't worry, I made her. I make all my stuff. No AI here. I do all my stream tech, do all my writing, handle all my advertising. Pack my own pipe. So when it goes out, like it just did, or is, only myself to blame. Anyway, so tonight we're going to ink this girl. I'm using Procreate. I will endeavor to be a little more instructive. Is instructive a word? Instructing? I will endeavor to instruct more on my art sessions. I know I tend to get stuck in the process and don't go over it. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be inking her because the overlay that you're looking at, my stream overlay right there, is homemade. I'm making stream overlays now. This one I'm probably, if the stream goes less than 2 hours, what I'll do is I'll pop this overlay up on my Etsy. I've already got one up there that is pretty cool. I'll just show it to you. So this one's already up on my Etsy. So if you're looking for a stream overlay, this one comes with 5 pieces. One of them's a key, and then it's also got, depending on what your stream type is. If you're using a webcam like I am, so this particular overlay matches the one that I'm using right now. If you don't use a webcam and you just use like an avatar, then I've got that one also. So more info on that, or broader info pieces. So I've got 2 different versions, and then I have 2 different versions of each version as well. I've got this dirty character sheet version up there too. So all of those come in one set, and I think it's $7. So for $7, you get the key, of course. They're all going to have a key, and then you get 4 different overlays, avatar or webcam. Now, I know I did mention in the key, it mentions GMing. I know a lot of GMs won't be using a screen like this. So I'm working on GM screens too. I just wanted to get some player screens out there because there's more players than there are GMs. By far, believe me, as a GM. So I'll be working on GM versions of this one as well. The problem with the GM is you can only load so many files on the shops. So when I do the GM overlays, I'll have 5 files, but it'll probably be like a 3-player, 4-player, 5-player key. I won't be able to. I could probably do the dirty, but most GMs, if you're GMing, you're probably not going to have dirty sheets anyway. So, yeah. So I'll have GM specific overlays up there for all you GMs. Don't worry about it. This one that you're looking at that I'm using right now, of course, that's not going to be GM, but it will. This is just for players. But well, I guess it depends on how you do it. If you know your stuff, you can fit all of the players in this area, theoretically. And then you could have your own screen up there. So, I mean, if you know your stuff, you can figure it out if you just like this overlay. So buy this overlay too. But I will have separate GM overlays for multiple players. This one, I'm not going to mess with. This one's just going to be a player. What's going to be cool about this one is I want to have the availability to put characters in these dynamic overlays. Oh, I got the double finger. I do want to be able to put characters in these dynamic overlays, so they're still layered. And here, I'll do this too while I'm talking. While I'm yakking, so my goal is to be able to put characters into these overlays. So when I do commissions for characters and commissions for specific overlays, I'll have different tiers there. Like you can commission me for just adding a character to an overlay I've got, your character. You could commission me for a brand new overlay, etc., etc. So I want to have multiple options for everybody because I'm cool. I'm nice like that. So this overlay, like I said, I'm going to try and have it up on my Etsy, the Toasted Phoenix Etsy tonight. What I want to do is I want to add the Flagon and Phoenix. I want to add the Flagon and Phoenix logo to it first because I'm pretty proud of that Flagon and Phoenix thing. Yeah. So once I add the logo, I'll get it uploaded to my Etsy. The Etsy, of course, is listed right there, and it's also in the description on the video, as well as my Patreon. That's one thing we're talking about tonight. So I guess I can get all the chat out of the way while we're doing this. So the thing we're talking about with the Patreon right now, my Patreon's monthly focus is We People. It was to celebrate Two Little Mice's announcement of Volume 2 of Household. Sorry, celebrating Volume 2 of Household. But and so therefore all the stuff on the Patreon right now is involving like fairy brownies size stuff. So if you're playing a miniature D&D campaign, like I played one once, I've got digital resources that you can use on Foundry or Roll20, tokens, digital maps. I've got some emojis for streamers. And with the next month, I will probably start including some of these overlays. So next month's is going to be the greatest and best bard in the worlds. And I'm thinking about putting overlays on there too. So maybe I'll have 4 tiers. I might have 4 patron tiers starting next month. Maybe I'll do a $10 too and put the overlays on there. So the standard tier, the standard paid tier gets you all the tokens and emojis. The next bump up gets you the digital maps as well. And right now, the next bump up is pretty big because it's a free commissioned pinup. I could count the overlay as a pinup because it's about the same as a pinup. Pinup for me is like a cover photo or a full page spread. So I could count the overlay as a pinup. Yeah, but maybe I'll put a 4th tier in for the greatest and best bard. I think I will. So the greatest and best bard in the world is obviously going to be fantasy based. I will have resources just like I did this month, so tokens and digital maps and emojis for streams. This week is going to be the last week of the We People. I need to put one more set of emojis up. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. What is tomorrow, Tuesday? So maybe I'll try to do the emojis tomorrow. And then I want to try and get one more digital map up. What I got, 5 days? 5 days for one more map and another set of emojis and one more critter. Yeah, one more critter. So 3 things I need to get up on the We People before the 5 days is up. Shouldn't be too hard. And then on the 1st, we'll be starting the greatest and best bard in the world. And that, all of my stuff is really, my style is, if you didn't notice, I'm trying to stick to a kind of a Saturday morning cartoon theme. even though it's Victorian and classic, and even though every time I start doing something, I'm tempted to make it realistic. I'm trying to keep it cartoony, trying to keep it kind of anime, as inspired by the stuff I watched growing up. So the greatest and best bard in the world is definitely going to be over the top, rock and roll, heavy metal, Saturday morning cartoon feel, paying homage to all those 70s and 80s fantasy and sci-fi. Um, by the way, if I got the chat working, so if you're trying to chat but you don't see it, you may just have to refresh. It is working. Yeah. So any of y'all that are trying to chat, try refreshing. It should be there. So going into the greatest and best bards in the world is going to go even further into the over-the-top domain, um, Saturday morning cartoons and 70s and 80s sci-fi and heavy metal. Uh, Not every character is going to be a bard per se, but every character will probably be musically inspired. The tricky thing about next month is it's all going to take place in my world, so I've got a lot of copyrighted stuff, so I have to work out the particulars there. Um, since you're my patrons, I don't have a problem you using my stuff, but I'll have to let you know. I'll either have to come up with completely different characters, use none of my actual characters, and only some of my name. You shouldn't be able to use names. That shouldn't be a big deal. But um, yeah, you might run into some issues when using them for money. So we'll have to do a license agreement in the Patreon. And anything I post on the Etsy, I suppose. But the good news is you'll get to see a map of the Toasted Phoenix. That'll be cool. That'll be cool. I have to decide on whether all the characters are going to be original. Jury's still out on that one. All right, is this over? It's over. Actually, let me export that too. How you like the new music? It's pretty cool. And if you haven't seen my holiday cards, are up too. I did a series of holiday cards. So these are up on the Etsy also. If you're looking for the overlay, you should see these. Currently, I got 3, but another thing I want to start tomorrow is the 4th. So you can actually, those are whole card templates, including the envelope. So if you've got a good printer, you should just be able to print in paper. You should just be able to print out your own synchronismus cards. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get straight to the inks. She's not completely detailed yet, and I mean, some of the stuff needs work, but I'm still doing rough sketches. I know a lot of people just color their sketches in Procreate, but I started as a sketch artist. It's like my main thing was sketch art for decades. Oh yeah, need to detail this bow first. I was not happy with the detail on the bow. I like how it's telling me to sign into my own chat before I can chat. Why would I need to sign into my chat? That's pretty ludicrous. Bows are always tricky to me because I don't know why, but I've always got this inclination to make the bows super detailed. And I'm still doing it. I'm doing it right now. Let's just make it symmetrical rather than super detailed. And that's a problem with making stuff cartoony. Like I said, every time I start doing stuff, I want to get really detailed. If you saw this, if you see the snail that I did for my We People campaign on Patreon, you'll see the temptation is always there to make something super realistic. And that includes when I see other people's stuff. When I see other people's stuff and they're doing realistic art, I want to do that. Keeping it simple is hard. She's got them boots with the fur. The whole inn was looking at her. The question is high heels or boots? She's an archer, so boots, right? All right, that's enough. So first things first, turning down the opacity on the layer really helps with the inking, let me tell you. And then get a good pen. I'll tell you what, before I start this, I'm going to grab some tea. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I'm thirsty. I grow my own lemon balm, so make my own lemon balm tea. I also made some stir fry, so I'll be honest, I grabbed a bite. Cook your own meals. Cook your own meals. All right. So you can't tell by looking at her, and definitely not by looking at her eyes, because they don't look like dark elf eyes, but this chick is actually going to be a dark elf. And in my world, there's different types of dark elves. Mermaids and such are actually dark elves too. So there are underwater dark elves, there are underground dark elves, and each of them has other subraces as well. The spider folk dark elves, or Daufs in my world, have kind of African aesthetics. In case that was noticeable. Hopefully it was. She may or may not be modeled after a popular singer. And the spider folk and the spore, well, no, the spore folk don't. The spider folk also wear porcelain masks. On Earth, do there. Keep slipping. There we go. Still not great. Let's try going from that side. That's so much better. Porcelain is actually one of their main exports. And rock, that's the name of my world, by the way, rock, R-O-Q. Going too fast, that's what's happening. I need to slow down. That's not right. Is that better? Yeah, it's much better. Get yourself some lemon balm. Super healthy too. Antidepressant. Man, I just got that whole thing crooked. At least it was crooked in the same way. That makes sense. There we go. I was doing that sketch in a moving car, so I'll blame that. See, there I go getting in the mode again. So, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm using, this is Procreate. Procreate is a iOS only app. Uses the Apple Pencil, Apple Pencil, excuse me, and it can do just about everything that Photoshop can do. Now it comes with a bunch of free brushes. Uh, Everything's called a brush, pens, pencils. It's all called brushes on here. And it comes with a ton of free brushes, probably all that you need. But you can A, make your own brushes, or B, buy brushes. In fact, a lot of artists, if you watch a lot of YouTube artists, they make their own brushes, or can. They tend to. Um, Martin Abel, who is awesome, he's got a bunch of really good brushes. If you do start using Procreate, I would say probably get used to making your own brushes, because if you start doing stuff like cityscapes or forests, things like that, making your own brushes is actually really helpful time-wise, uh, especially if you don't like using somebody else's shit. So there's a bunch of artists make their own cityscapes, and you can download their brushes pretty cheap, like $3. But I mean, it's somebody else's work. I don't really like using somebody else's work. The only thing I really use of somebody else's is I will use a texture, um, which I mean I'll even use my own. I might go take a picture of a rock, and then I'll use my rock texture. In fact, right there, um, those pillars. or just rock texture that I put on there. And the way you do that is you overlay, which is the layer type. So I'm not going to go with that with the inking and coloring, but if you go back and rewatch the time lapse that I did, you'll see me putting the layer down. So you just put a layer over it, and then you overlay it, cut it out how you want. It's really cool. That's really the only thing I use of somebody else's. I'll never use AI. Hell, I even hand wash my own dishes. I've got 14 gardens. I do everything myself. Can even make my own alcohol. So do as much for yourself as you can. We're losing our substantiability. See, like what I just did there, that's the auto shape tool. The trick is getting it the same size as the other one. That's the trick. There we go. Yeah. Those are good lines. I'm happy with those lines. That one eye is so much thicker. There we go. Moving on. No, I don't think I finished detailing it, but I had a belt with this type of thingy on it. So we'll just repeat that here. Fashion gets tricky because you don't want to match too much and you don't want to match too little, especially when it comes to the feminine type, because they're cooler and smarter than us. Y'all are so quiet. Is the chat not working? It said I got it working. Let me double check. Yeah, it's working. Y'all are just quiet. Fair enough. I mean, I did a testes. I usually do. In fact, I usually do testes. I don't remember if I did it this time or not. But everybody was just so quiet, that's all. Not usually so quiet. It's funny, I've been thinking about this shoulder pad for a while now. I didn't give her any knee pads. And see how it just detailed that? I feel bad about it. That's what I was talking about. I want to detail. But then when I'm trying to stay cartoony, I hate that I detailed it. Got an idea. We're going to meet in the middle. Watch this. Drop the mic. I'm at kind of a lull. I don't have much to explain while I'm inking. I'm not going to do any layer switching. It's just inking at this point. It's the same thing I'd be doing if I was doing this on paper. Sketch to ink. If you're a Kevin Smith fan, this would be the trace phase. On that note, Sucker finally got the rights to Dogma. Or the rights to Dogma are open. Has it been 25 years? Is that why? Certainly not. No, not quite. Maybe. Has it been 25 years since Dogma? Holy shit. Anyway, he's got the rights to Dogma somehow. So Dogma is going to be re-releasing. Um, and they're doing a sequel. Kind of happy about that. Dogma had my favorite on-screen god ever. Oh, she better come back for the sequel. She better come back for the sequel. That's all I care about now. Alanis Morissette played God in Dogma, and she was flawless. So what I'm doing right now, I usually do in the detail phase. I don't know why I'm stopping to do it now. Do that later. I see some stuff I forgot. confused myself on this jacket. What have I got going on there? Is that just a wrinkle, maybe? I think it is. Probably should have done the belt first. Or strap. Damn. What's really funny is y'all don't see all the times I flip the screen. It's a lot. Look at that. Okay, so sorry, they had a new feature. I'll mostly cover this in the detail phase, but when you're doing your line art, I guess somebody drove by with some loud music. That was different. When you're doing your line art, certain lines are going to be darker than others just for importance sake. sometimes shading, sometimes just to set stuff apart. Like I said, I'll cover that more when I get to the detail phase, but since I was fooling myself just then, that's why I'm making some of these lines darker right quick, so that I don't fool myself again. Yes, I'm still unhappy with that damn die. I'll probably work on it again in a minute. Come at that. What about turd? This is going to be the part of the video where it's got really long dead air. I just get so in the zone. Especially since I haven't been doing this for a while. Just listen to music or put on an old flick and draw to that. I'm trying to get better. We'll see what we can do. Tell you one thing that'll help you if you're going to illustrate stuff / paint stuff. Know your anatomies. If there's something you don't know, research, research, research. Never be afraid to research. I tell you now, that's probably why so many, well, I'm not going to say probably. That's why so many artists, you see a lot of art, be it book or comic book or movie or song, where it seems like they're predicting the future. James Orwell or George Orwell or who's another good one? The Matrix is a really good one. So it seems like they're predicting the future. They're not necessarily predicting the future. What they're doing is when they research, they're finding out all this stuff that's just not what it seems, and the dangers of it. So what the artists end up doing in all this research is seeing all these dangers and trying to spell them out in not so clear terminology, or sometimes clear terminology. They're really reflections of the day. They're not prophecies of the future. I mean, even The Wizard of Oz was a political satire. Doesn't that look so much cooler? Not as detailed, but not bland. Yeah, we're definitely not keeping it under an hour, huh? All the other artists are going to think I'm hiding her hands, so I don't have to worry about hands. It was not intentional. I like drawing hands. They're hard, no doubt, but I like drawing hands. Let's add that, though. In fact, I think I dislike feet more than I dislike drawing hands. Both are hard, but I enjoy hands for some reason. Maybe it's because they're hard. Maybe it's like a test. I got this test. I got passed. There are ways to cheat mirrored items like this, uh, depending on your perspective. This particular perspective, I don't think I'd be able to do it. But in Photoshop, there's a mirror mode. In this, you can just make a copy of it and flip it. I definitely do that sometimes, but not today. Because I think the perspective is too out of whack. Bows are fun. Much like the auto shape tool, you've also got the auto straight line tool. All you have to do is just hold down for a second, and it will straighten your line for you. If you're trying to make it straight up or straight down, you also just put one finger on it. So draw your line, hold a finger down, and it will straighten it out. Make it lateral or longitudinal, horizontal, vertical. Yeah, that's not quite right, is it? How best to fix that? I just have to move it. Let's try that actually first. Man, I can't believe I did that. That whole thing too. So think about there, about there. Was that blue? It happens sometimes. Wondering why it looks so chubby. I guess I didn't explain what I was doing, but I think it's because it was pretty easy to pick up. So there's a selection tool. I simply use the selection tool to select the area that was wrong and move it. Didn't have to copy and paste or add a new layer or anything. Just did it all on one layer. So it's really just a matter of selecting where you want and then moving it. One of the benefits of digital art. If I'd have been doing that with ink, you can probably guess where that would have gone. But then again, that's why when you're using ink, the sketch phase is a little more important. If I were doing a real sketch, it would have gotten a lot more time than that sketch did. So we'll do that. We'll do the string. We'll do the drawstring last, or bowstring. We'll do that last. Yeah. All right. So, see, what's funny is the only reason I really noticed that is because I was liking the other arm so much. I was so proud of the one arm, it made me realize how poor the other was. I need to see the other one while I do this. All right. Nope. Good grief. Let's do this. So I went a little too far. There. Still not. There we go. That's the way it should be. Goes to show one bad sketch can really ruin your day. Like I said, I was doing it in a moving car. I've got that excuse, but that's really all I got. think I'm finally happy with the eyes. I noticed that a while back. Okay. Let me go ahead and do what I got, and then I'll do all the fixes. Mm. Alright, that's no more use to me. So already took longer than planned. Alright. very smooth, was it? I think the moral of tonight's story is definitely going to be no more sketching in a moving vehicle. It's been a while since I've done that. I need to try and do more sketches on here. Sketches are probably more fun watching me do line art anyway, if I'm being honest. I was talking about textures earlier. Some artists make textures for chains, like they make their own chain textures. It's pretty slick. One day I need to try that. Not texture. Brush. I meant brush. Textures different. I meant brush. So basically, every time you draw a line, it draws a whole link or a whole chain and links. If you're wondering how to get those lines the different width like that, that's because the Apple Pencil is pressure sensitive. That's really the coolest thing about Procreate. Since it uses the Apple Pencil, all you have to do is press a little harder, you'll get that. Literally my favorite thing. Not that all the brushes do that, and you can turn that feature off. I'm also not going to make you sit, since it's already been 2 hours basically, I'm not going to make you sit through the detail phase. I'll detail her on my own, and what we'll do is tomorrow I'll do a stream and we'll color her together. If I hadn't had so many touch-ups to do, I would have been able to do the detail with you. But the detail phase is really boring anyway, so I'll save you that. And there I go, starting to detail. I like her. Have you figured out what singer she's based on yet? To me, she looks a lot like her. I tried. I think I succeeded. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to make you sit through all that detail. It's probably another 25-30 minutes of detailing. But the detailing phase is really just darkening / widening some of the lines like I was talking about for importance and for shading. Doing any more touch-up that's needed. That's really all detailing is. So, not going to make y'all sit through all that. Ugh. But tomorrow what I'll do is I'll just make it a point to do the coloring tomorrow with y'all. I need to stream more anyway. So, for tonight, that's going to be catch y'all on the... not quite yet. So, I didn't really talk much about what's going to go on after the 5 days. So, I mentioned my world. Of course. I forgot to delete a whole folder by accident. So I don't have much of my world to show y'all. I can say that is on Amazon right now. So if you're looking for a devotional / journal, I do have my first book up on Amazon. But yeah, I forgot I can't really show off much about the greatest and best bard in the world because I accidentally deleted a lot of it. That sucked. If I had any tears left, I would have cried. So this is the We People Patreon. This is all the stuff I've done for the We People so far. Like I said, 3 more things to get pushed. That's actually not all of it. I'll show you all of it in a second. So 3 more things that want to get pushed out this week in the next 5 days. And that'll be finishing up the We People Patreon. And then we'll start the greatest and best bard in the world. Both of those focuses are also based on campaigns that I've run or am running. So if you're looking for an RPG group or game, I GM on Start Playing. You can find me there. I think it's just under Daxula. But the link is down there. So there's links to the Patreon. There's links to Start Playing. Links to the Etsy shop. So all the stuff should be at your fingertips. In 5 days, we'll start the greatest and best bard in the world. And in the We People, we might revisit it some other time, but looking for it seems like a lot of people are looking forward to the greatest and best